Welcome to the Freelance Unlocked Behind the Scenes series, where I'm showcasing the amazing people who will be at Freelance Unlocked Conference, the first and the best conference for freelancers that it made with love, and it'll take place in Berlin on May 14th, 15th, 2025. If you're a freelancer in Europe, it's an event made for you to learn, exchange experiences, and build your network of great freelancers and experts who move the freelance economy forward. So go to freelanceunlocked.com and grab your ticket right away. My name is Yuri. I'm a community builder at Freelance Unlocked, and my guest is Marvin Linxweiler, a freelancer since 2019, a founder of Lean Creator Club, and a LinkedIn ghostwriter for numerous personal brands and consultant to hundreds of freelancers. So, hello, Marvin.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Super happy to have you here to talk to you, meet you even before the conference. So, tell me a little bit about your freelance journey.
Well, back in 2019, I started freelancing as a typical side hustle while I was working as a content manager at a German automation startup. And honestly, I didn't think too much about strategy or building a business. I just set up a profile on freelancing platforms like Fiverr and made my first steps as a freelance copywriter back then. And yeah, fast forward 2 years. I'd left my job, worked with over 80 businesses, and completed even more projects. And along the way, I discovered the types of content and topics I was most passionate about. And yeah, decided to double down on them. And because Fiverr projects tend to be low volume and yeah, very high competition, I then asked myself, like, how can I attract better clients who value what I do? And that question led me to LinkedIn, where I started positioning myself as a copywriter first, and yeah, landed my biggest freelance contracts in the very first month. So it was a really nice switch from the Fiverr to LinkedIn change. And yeah, soon after, I started receiving more and more DMs from people who are asking me if I could help them write their LinkedIn posts. So, and since I was already considering narrowing down my service portfolio, I took this as a chance to reposition myself as a LinkedIn ghostwriter. And yeah, that's what I've been doing for the past 3 years, basically, writing thousands of LinkedIn posts for over 35 different CEOs and founders, and consulting even more freelancers and solopreneurs on how to do this themselves. Yeah.
So you told us in the beginning you didn't think about it as a business. So
Yeah.
what changed since that time?
Well, at the beginning, I just wanted to have like first experiences. What do I like? How can I attract people and customers? I didn't know how it was working out. And now I really made my mind about it. Like, where do I want to evolve in the future? What are my superpowers, my skills? What is the value I can share with my community or other people? So right now I'm doing it much more intentionally, and yeah, I have more strategy behind it, basically. Yeah.
So give me a sneak peek into what you'll be talking about on the Freelance Unlocked stage.
Well, I'll be talking about the things that really matter if you are a freelancer or solopreneur. See, if you don't have a big team and handle 90% of the work alone, success doesn't come from the perfect sales script or viral content format for me. It comes from being in the right state, focused, clear thinking, productive, and creative. And for me, it's not about your business. It's about you. You are the business. So yeah, in my workshop, I show you how to do less but better by focusing only on what truly moves the needle.
What was this moment in your personal journey when you realized that doing more is not always the best answer?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it sounds a little bit cliche. But a few years ago, I was traveling through Indonesia and Thailand. And I remember a moment where I was literally sitting my ass off in a cafe in Bali, creating a fancy lead gen inbound funnel for my copywriting business. And I wasn't really questioning what I was doing. Looking back, it was like pure and unreflected actionism. And the end of story is that I ended up spending almost 200 hours on a project that never saw the light of day, when I could have done so much other incredible stuff, sitting in the middle of paradise. And yeah, that was the first time I learned the hard way that just doing something doesn't mean you're moving forward. And yeah, I think you can work 10 focused hours a week and get way more done than someone spending 40 plus hours a week on the wrong task. So I think this was the first time I had this mindset shift.
So, doing less to achieve more, how to use it practically in freelancer's life?
Um, well, today's online world is full of experts and coaches and self-proclaimed gurus shouting all the things you should do as a freelancer. And the result in 99% is total overwhelm and often inaction. It's called the paradox of choice. And when it means like when there's too much to choose from, we freeze and don't do anything at all. So doing less doesn't mean being lazy. It means like protecting yourself from all those shiny objects and irrelevant advice that doesn't bring you forward. And it means like focusing on the few fundamental strategies that actually work for you and your business.
How do you know what works and what doesn't? Because, well, like the backstory of this question, coming back to the point that there are so many different experts and there are so many different approaches and people can get lost. So how to prioritize what to really work on?
So it's hard to mention this in one or two short sentences, but I mean there are a few key concepts that are universal, I would say, that are always working, no matter what business you are, no matter what industry. It's about how you as an individual and as a business like condense information, use this information, share it with the outside world, and how to validate your ideas and not work on based on assumptions and stuff like this. So yeah, there are a few key concepts that work every time, and these are like the concepts we are building the foundation for everything that follows.
So you talked about validating ideas, and sometimes it can be a never-ending cycle. You can plan, you can do this perfect world strategy and never act. But I truly believe that the really, really main point is actions. So, what is your approach? How to ensure that you are not falling into this endless trap of planning and perfectionism?
Yeah. That's also a good question because I experienced this myself in the past a lot, and many freelancers are struggling from it. And I think the problem is that most freelancers wear all the hats. Like, for example, in the morning, they set up a content strategy, and after lunch, they write their LinkedIn posts. And because none of them gone viral till the evening, they question their strategy and start all over again. So, and that's a trap. Like to stay productive and sane, I suggest working in clear roles and stick to them for a while. So I call these roles the visionary, the strategist, and the worker. And the visionary thinks about goals and loads them up with as much emotion as possible, kind of like a vision board. And the strategist breaks up these goals into projects and simple, actionable tasks that you need to do in order to achieve these goals of the visionary. And after that, the worker executes those tasks without questioning them. So it's kind of like a circle. And you should stay in each role long enough to get traction and then come back to validate based on actual results than on gut feelings. And I think this is one way to overcome these type of perfectionism and endless planning.
But I feel like it's still easy to stand in one of the roles. You can be too
Yeah.
much visionary or too much strategy or too much worker. How to balance those roles?
I would say it's always like a phase. For example, these phases can be like a week or two. They can also be a Sunday where you just sit in your kitchen and do the vision and goal setting for the next 2 months. And once you've done this step, you gotta leave it behind and never come back to, oh, what are my goals? So after this, you just take these goals and break them into smaller parts and then execute on them. So I think it's really important to have like clear time frames where you say, okay, after this, this role is done, and then I'm leaving it there and just focusing on the next one.
What is one mindset shift that freelancers could try today to start doing more while working less?
Well, for me, I thought about some context from the Lean Creator Club. There are many that get immediate results, but which I like the most is one of the marketing module. It goes like this: most people are creating content and wonder that they don't get clients through it or that no one's going to like it. And I think about content like this: when creating content, don't ask yourself what you want to post. Instead, you should ask yourself, what does my audience need to believe in order to buy? So figure out the specific beliefs they need to hold for your offer to feel like the obvious choice, and then create content that builds those beliefs and circle around it. And this is how, in my case, or what I teach others in the Lean Creator Club, brings clients naturally to you.
You know, it sounds like very similar to the approach I have in community building, because when I want people to get the most value, for example, there is some tool and I know that this tool will help people to get more projects or to work better. I'm not telling them, take this tool, it will help you to get more projects. I'm always thinking like, what is the value? How can they benefit out of this? And I always start with like, here is what you can achieve. Here are the steps you can work. And if you'd like to, maybe this tool can help you. So I feel like it's something that you are talking about. It's more about the value that your content, that your post will bring to people and how they will see you from their standpoint as someone who can really help them and who really brings value to them.
Sure, sure. Yeah. So yeah, basically what you said, like what do they have to know? What do they have to think in order to come to the conclusion, okay, this product is really helping me or it's really saving me in my daily life. Yeah.
You know, Marvin, I wish to have the sky is the limit, but time is the limit. So the final question, what is your quick take on freelance economy and how it will develop in the near future?
Well, there's so much going on right now, but I don't need to say that. But yeah, my take is that companies will continue to reduce full-time staff in favor of more flexible, on-demand talent, especially with AI on the rise. And for me, that's a huge opportunity for freelancers because hiring a highly motivated freelancer is often easier and smarter than finding and onboarding an employee they might replace 7 months later from now. So I think especially with all those smart tools that are evolving right now, even one person businesses can become like powerhouses with great outputs. So yeah, I think it could be worse, in my opinion, for freelancers right now.
Got it. And you'll be speaking at the Freelance Unlocked Conference. And if your friend asked you whether they should go to the Freelance Unlocked, what would you say to them?
I would say, man, you've got to come over. I have a talk there, so let's hang out after and grab a beer. But no, just kidding. I would say, yeah, that's a great opportunity to get to know like-minded people, to connect with other freelancers, solopreneurs, speakers, experts, because especially in our field, as solopreneurs and one-person businesses, it's super important to connect with other people around you so you don't have to go this journey alone. I know it from myself from the past 6 years. I was working like 90% of the time out of my living room, sitting there all day, and kind of, yeah, much time alone. So I think it's really good to see others are going the same way and that I'm not alone with this.
Marvin, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom even before the conference. And I
Thank
hope
you.
to see you very soon and learn even more from you in person.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to be on the Freelance Unlocked and yeah, really happy about it.
And for those who listen, I hope you learned from Marvin's experience already and say thank you to him in real life at the Freelance Unlocked Conference on May 14th, 15th, 2025 in Berlin. So go to freelanceunlocked.com, grab your ticket and meet you there.